So today I'm going to be reading my tarot cards. I have the Wild Unknown tarot deck and I love it. It's been my only tarot deck I've ever had and the only one I ever want in my life. I feel like I'm really growing a spiritual connection to these cards. I feel like they're getting to know me and, you know, work with me. So every year on New Year's, I have this tradition that I do the year ahead spread, which is just right there. It looks just like this. And it's super straightforward. It's because you have one card in the center of that spread that is symbolic of your entire year, and then each month gets its own card. So I find that this is a really beginner-friendly tarot spread. I've been doing it for years now. It's my tradition to do it on New Year's. So I have already pulled all of my cards for this year, and this video is just gonna be me trying to interpret it, because last year my cards were so accurate, it was scary. Sometimes I find that it can be a little bit hard to interpret them in advance. I'm still fairly new to this, even though I do it often. I am not very gifted. So this is super beginner friendly sort of spread. Just last year was such a huge spiritual journey for me, and I'm really connecting with it even more now. So I'm hoping I'll have a little bit of clarity with this spread. But I will say I'm a little bit nervous. Last year I had cards like the Tower, and I had a lot of ups and downs all through last year. It was really insane. And just because my cards were so accurate, I'm like a little intimidated by these ones this year. I'm hoping that it'll be good though. And I don't know, let me know what you think, if you interpret them in a different sort of way maybe. Cause yeah, I would like some reassurance that this year will be okay for me. I'd like an easy year, you know, but that's never a thing. That's fake. Every year is a hard year, and we just, you know, pick and choose which parts we'd like to remember. So I'm hoping that even if this year is difficult, I still manage to have a good year, and I'm hoping that these cards will help me get through it, at the very least. So let's get started. I'm gonna start with the January card and end with the overall year card. So I'll be honest, I use this guidebook almost like a freaking Bible, just because I have a really bad memory. It's really hard to remember what each card means. So we'll see how this goes. We've got the Ace of Swords for January. So the Ace of Swords is supposed to represent truth and mental clarity, and it talks about lightning striking and the whole world just seeming to light up for that 1 second. It's kind of just symbolic of saying that I will have, you know, it's a flash, a vision of clarity, and I need to hold on to that, and I should have a clear mind, you know. It'll be clarity, it'll be a clear mind, it'll be concise thinking. It's a great time to make those decisions you've been putting off. Well, I don't know about that, you know, because the thing with the tarot cards is, sure, that's a great card, great advice, but about what? Right? It's like, that's just my overall January card. So it's really vague. I could go in and ask some more questions with the cards, and they would be able to give me a little bit of a more clear answer, but I don't want to do that. I need to figure out what the hell this card's talking about. I have some ideas, you know, but it's hard to point at something and be like, yep, that's it. I find that it's a lot easier to kind of live through things and then look back at the cards and be like, oh yeah, that's what you were talking about. Of course that's easier. But I do try and look to the cards for advice, getting me through any time that I'm needing help getting through. Every month. So this is kind of a fun video because now you'll see my tarot cards, and then if you want, you can go and watch my monthly recap videos and see how the cards line up, I guess. You can just compare my monthly card to my life, you know. It's kind of fun if you're that into it. I don't know. See how good I am at reading cards, see how accurate they are, I guess. I don't know. February, card is Ace of Cups. And Ace of Cups is love's beginnings. So it marks the beginning of exciting new phases, and it deals specifically with love and emotion. So it says I'm in for a real treat. I don't know. A blissful time of health, joy, and friendship. I mean, that's great for February. Maybe I'll get to enjoy my Valentine's Day. I don't know. I hope, maybe. You may feel like you're making a whole new start, but just go with it. See, so even though this is like a good card, I feel like it's still like intimidating. It's still kind of scary. Just because I don't fully know what it could possibly mean. But I'm looking forward to it, I guess. I hope I have a good Valentine's Day. I feel like that's what I'm taking away from this card. We'll see if that's accurate or not when I do that month recap, I guess. And then just because, you know, for the sake of whiplash, I have the Five of Cups. And this one is about grief and disappointment, unfortunately. So it indicates a time of sorrow. It says a relationship may fall apart or an old friend could slip away. Just kind of just disappointment and regret. And it just says don't make any hasty decisions and be careful of the expectations you put onto other people because perhaps they can never live up to my expectations or please me, I guess. So it's an interesting card. I feel like it's, like I said, it's whiplash from the last one, right? So when I was reading all of my tarot for this year, that was pretty much the overall vibe, I guess, is just back and forth, lots of feelings, lots going on. So hopefully I can handle it. I hope I get to enjoy my Valentine's Day before I'm met with grief and disappointment and regret and sorrow. I hope it's not all that bad. I've been through a lot. I think I can handle it. We'll see how extreme can go, I guess. Hopefully it's something silly. You never know. See, that's another thing with the cards, is it could be something completely trivial that messes up my month. And that could be what it's talking about. But we'll see. After that, for April, we have the Magician. And the Magician is all about self-empowerment and action. So I'm into that. The Magician is a card of boundless, expansive energy. It's time to see myself as the wildcat and embrace the speed, grace, and abilities. Don't be afraid to begin. So, you know, that does seem like a good card, but what could it mean? I don't know. I feel like I have been on a whole like self-empowerment sort of journey, so I'm glad to see that that is continuing. It does make a lot of sense for that card to come after the Five of Cups, considering the Five of Cups was like the grief and sorrow and regret, because I like to really look inwards all the time. I really focus on self-growth, and I think this year I need to focus a lot on empowering myself and holding on to that power and taking action with it instead of, you know, whatever I have been doing. I don't know. I've always been pretty empowered, but I feel like I need to harness it and use it for good, you know? So we'll see. Hopefully that Magician card will be good to me, will be accurate. And then, you know, of course, more whiplash. After my Magician card and getting all the self-empowerment, I have the Nine of Swords, and it is dark visions and anguish. All right. Love that. So, I don't know, maybe you guys are starting to see what I mean by like lots of emotions, lots of back and forth, a little overwhelming. I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit scared, but it's fine. The cards have my back, I think. So the Nine of Swords is an extremely dark card. Reveals the deepest shadows of the self. It indicates insomnia, nightmares, and worries. Guilt, despair, and even depression. It says I'll be battling with myself and I will need to turn to others and find joy. I feel like that could have been my card of the year last year, quite honestly, so I'm not super thrilled about having that in my spread, but it could be good. You know, every time there's a bad card, I feel like there is growth that can come from it, and you know, you can kind of prepare yourself in a sort of way for what to expect a little bit. Obviously, I don't want dark visions and anguish, but that is something I've kind of dealt with my whole life, so I'm sure I can get through it. I can already kind of see what might play out with that sort of thing, but honestly, a year is a fairly long time, so you never really know what to expect, what could happen. You know, it's only January now, so I can really only focus on my Ace of Swords card, and I can only pretend to know what this card is talking about with my Nine of Swords. We'll just kind of have to go on that journey and see what happens, and, you know, prepare myself to have maybe a rough month and to get through it. And then for June, I have the High Priestess, which I think is another good card. So the High Priestess stands for mystery and psychic wisdom. Sits in stillness. From there, she's able to access realms others pass by without noticing. Intuition, dreams, and mystery. She uses silence and non-action to harness this power. Sometimes this card appears to remind you to listen more closely to the voice within. Other times it's a sign to look past the obvious, so you can find what's being kept secret or hidden within a given situation. So I like to think that this card is, again, an overall good, self-empowering sort of card, but it's different from the Magician, whereas the Magician wanted me to take action. This one's wanting me to sit by and kind of see what's going on, actually see what's going on. So I don't like mystery. I really don't. But that is why I'm good at observing, I think. I try really hard to pay attention spiritually and pick up on details that others might not. But there's always, I can always do better, you know. That's a hard trait to really fully harness. So this card is a good one, I think. I'm gonna make the most of it and gain some psychic wisdom. For July, I have the Moon. What a beautiful card. And this one is vivid dreams and fears. So just to go along with those nightmares that I'm having earlier in the year, I guess. In many ways, the Moon card encompasses the idea of the wild unknown. I like that. The place where dreams, fears, and mysteries are born. I do really like the Moon card. It's a little scary. I'm afraid of the dark, but I got the moonlight shining through. That's kind of the vibe that I get from this. I could have a lot of anxiety during this month if I'm not careful, but I can also harness a lot of that creativity and power. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. Hopefully it won't be too much anxiety and stress during July. Hopefully it'll be a lot of, you know, appreciating things and letting myself be creative and letting myself be scared and fearful of things, but maybe pushing past that and persevering anyway. August is the Daughter of Swords. And the Daughter of Swords is honest and insightful. I love that. That's easy, that's good. I can work with that. So talking about the Daughter of Swords, honesty and insights take her far in life. People truly value her frankness, and she learns from keen observation. So kind of like I was saying with the High Priestess, I guess, I like to be observant and think about things, but this card, it says that it can almost be a burden to pick up on every small detail, and it says there's a potential for her to hold on to those experiences and become spiteful and judgmental. So I think being aware of that is kind of helpful, you know, because it's all good to be insightful and everything, but it's not good to have that ruining your day to day or having that impact your relationships around you. Kind of like I was talking about before with holding expectations and having people not meet my expectations. I do think that that is something I'm already learning this year a little bit, is how to kind of navigate that. So I am glad that a lot of that continues through my year, and a lot of just the self-empowerment continues. Even with some of the negative cards, I feel like overall it is going to be a year of self-growth. We're only in August right now, but it seems good, okay? I see some self-growth happening, which, you know, is going to happen every single year, but I think it's really important to focus on that part of it rather than the struggles that lead me to that, I guess. I don't want to focus on the struggles and the depression and the nightmares and insomnia that I guess will have. The dark visions. I want to focus on the good that comes from that. For September, I have the Emperor. Last year, I got the Empress, and I really love that card. Creation, nature, and the mother. I feel like I hold that card very close to my heart. It's very important to me. So it was really interesting for me to pull the Emperor this year instead. Because I think it goes to show that I need that sort of balance, I guess. The Emperor stands for protection, stability, the father. The perfect counterpart to the Empress. Represents the side of you that's protective, decisive, and truly stable. So that does go along with my whole thing about self-growth and expectations and things like that. I feel like I'm really gonna stabilize my mind a little bit and my emotions and my expectations, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's something I need in life. It's something I've never really been able to do before or try, or I don't know. I feel like I have some clarity already about how I need to grow, and I'm really excited to see what happens. And I think the Emperor is very symbolic of what that means for me. Sometimes this card is literal and points to a paternal relationship in your life. At other times, it's just reconnecting with the part of you that stands strong and tall and knows just what to do. And I think that's more so what this card means for me. I mean, I don't know. It could be different come September. It could mean I have to reconnect with my dad. I don't know. But from where I'm sitting right now, it's almost clear. I can't guarantee it, but I do like that I have a sort of idea with what these cards mean, and I hope it's good for me. I hope so. The Emperor can see for miles and miles. Good. I can already pick up on those close details. Let me see far away now. October is the Son of Pentacles. And that card is loyal, quiet, and dedicated, which I love. Those are all amazing traits. The good side of the Son of Pentacles is that he's loyal and determined. He's inventive and can be trusted wholeheartedly. Those are things that I like to claim for myself. I do like to think that I have those traits. But sometimes this figure becomes stubborn and persistent to a fault. This, combined with his quiet nature, results in being hard to get to know and socially awkward at times. That's definitely accurate. Like, really, it is. So now talking about all the self-growth and stuff that I will be doing, and expectations and everything, I think the stubborn and persistent to a fault is something that comes with the self-growth and the expectations and all of that. The rest of this card, I do like. I don't know if it's just supposed to be like, hey, look in the mirror and like assess yourself, or if it could mean something else for me come that time of year, but I see some patterns happening with these cards now. My November card is the Tower, which is always a little bit nerve-wracking. Last November, I also had the Tower card, so I don't like that pattern. It was a really hard time for me, to say the least. I did get through it. So the Tower pretty much just means drastic change. Something's gonna happen. The well-rooted tree that has been growing strong for decades is crashing down around you. That's pretty much the vibe, is that something major is gonna change. Get used to it. Buckle up and enjoy that ride. So very nerve-wracking to see that card. Change is a good thing. Hopefully this change will be a good thing. It's always hard to adjust to change. Even though this phase is painful and confusing, it will be over soon, and hopefully see a personal breakthrough sort of thing in the end. This could continue along my cards with the personal growth and everything like that. It could mean something along those lines. It could mean something completely out of left field that happens. I don't know. The Tower is really an intimidating card to have. I have until, I guess, November to prepare myself for it, and I think that's what the cards are trying to tell me I'll be doing with the personal growth, I hope. And maybe the Tower will be some sort of breakthrough close to the end of my year, and I'll make the most of it, even though I'm so scared. Stop! I don't want this card anymore. No, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that because then I'll keep getting that card over and over and over. I like the card. It's hard to deal with. It's life. I think it's life. The Tower is what life is. You gotta deal with it. You gotta embrace it, and you gotta make the most of it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then the bouncing back and forth with the energy and the emotions. I have the 10 of Cups, and that is radiating energy, which makes a lot of sense after the Tower card, because you gotta have the positive to outweigh that negative. If you're gonna have a personal breakthrough type of thing, it only makes sense to have a positive card after the negative card. And the 10 of Cups overflows with positivity. I love to hear that. So this is what I mean, is that even though I'm so scared of that Tower card, the tarot is getting me through it. I've got radiating energy and positivity the next month in December. So hopefully that'll be great. The excitement surrounding you is magnetic to others. Experience sensations like this with an open and joyful heart. Do not doubt this power. That is definitely something I've learned how to do, is let myself enjoy things. It's new to me, which sounds kind of silly, but when you stop expecting things to make you happy, you can make your own happiness, almost. Like, you can find happiness in every little thing. And sometimes it takes a really hard month with a Tower card to get to that point, you know? You can really get lost in the fog sometimes. So, yeah, I've got my moonlight guiding me. I've got my attention to detail, you know? I think it'll be a good year for the most part. A little intimidating considering I am just guessing with all of this. I like to think I have a good sort of idea, but I really won't until I live through it and reassess the cards. And yeah, I'll be honest, when I pulled these cards, I was really unsure. I was thinking that the tarot might have been wrong. Like, that's never the case, first of all, but you know what I mean? I was thinking maybe I didn't put the right energy when I was pulling the cards or something like that. But that's not how that works. But I like that I came back and I'm reassessing right now because it's giving me some clarity to actually think of it as like a story type thing almost. I think it'll be a fun year. So my overall card for the entire year is the 3 of Wands. And the 3 of Wands is envisioning the future. So the 3 of Wands indicates you've had continued support from others, and with their help, you formed a sense of self, of your values and morals. Okay, yeah, that does make sense considering all of the self-growth and everything that these cards are saying to me, and the paternal relationship, and all of these things. I think that does make sense. But now it's time to rely on yourself for guidance. Yep, that is what these cards have been telling me all along, I guess. Cast others' needs and opinions aside. Yeah, that's part of what I'm learning with the expectations. It's not always necessarily about other people not meeting my expectations, but maybe about me not meeting theirs when I think I should or something, and that being a whole situation. I don't think that I'm a people pleaser necessarily, but it is something I've been working on and digging deeper in, kind of realizing when I'm doing that type of thing, because I just thought that was my personality for a long time, and now I'm kind of realizing what it actually is, and I want to have a stronger sense of self. That is definitely where I'm at right now in January, is I want to have a stronger sense of self and trust my own opinions more and take action more often. So I'm really, really, really hoping that that is what happens this year. And the Three of Wands is kind of saying that that is what will happen. I'll be able to have that self-growth and come out trusting myself a little bit more. The future is infinite and it is yours. That is true. It is my life and I can do with it what I please and what I need to do. And that's really exciting. The only thing about this card is that it doesn't really tell me much about my relationships with other people. Like it says I need to trust my own judgment and everything more, but I'm hoping I can still have support, you know what I mean? I'm hoping the Three of Wands is showing me more about the growth that I am gonna have and not mean anything secretly deeper, maybe. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But let me know if you agree with my thoughts on this spread, on what I pulled, if you think it's kind of accurate or if I'm way off chart and you think it's totally something different. I think it'll be good. I hope it'll be good. Lots of self-growth to come is all I can say. And that's every single year. That should never, ever change. But I'm interested to see where it goes. So, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or want to know more details, I guess. I would love if you guys watch my month recap videos after you watch this and kind of just think of it with that grain of salt. And yeah, that's how I'm living my life, you know? I turn to the tarot for guidance, but at the end of the day, I gotta trust my own opinions and make some choices and do some shit, and hopefully it'll all work out well. So, here's to 2024.